Here with Chuck Weber, the Heartlanders, and who else but the Bloomington Bison to kick off 3 games in a row on Thanksgiving week. Chuck, Heartlanders coming off a pretty big win on Sunday. We're down 3-0. Things look pretty grim after the first 12, 15 minutes. What changed in the second and third period?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we picked up our enthusiasm in our structure. The first period might have been one of the worst periods of hockey we played this year. Really lacked everything. It could have been a lot worse. I ended up pulling Riley Mercer, but it wasn't really his fault. And fortunately, that was a game where the goalies won us the game. Yes, we were able to come back, score 6 straight, but the way we played is not sustainable in the long run to be a playoff team and a team that has higher aspirations.
I know you and I were chatting a couple days ago, like shot attempts is a big thing that you track, and shot attempts were pretty heavy favored in front of Cincinnati there. What about the quality of the scoring chances when you went back and looked? Heartlanders got 6 goals since he got 3, but how did the quality of the chances look throughout the game?
Since he still had the higher quality, I think when you go into it, what's the term they use is expected goals. I think since he was expected to have 5, we were expected to have 3. So, from that standpoint, we doubled our expected, maybe got a leaker here or there, and Roos and Merce made a couple saves that they weren't supposed to make. And you're going to need those. You're going to need your goalies to steal you games. I thought Mercer stole us a game in Toledo, and I would say they combined to steal us a game against Cincinnati there. So, we've talked over the last couple of days as a team, we need to improve our starts, and we need to improve our structure that way to get to be who we want to be.
Max Patterson, he had 3 assists kind of under the radar in that game with everything happening kind of really quickly in the last couple periods. So he's stepped up. He's been playing, not just he maybe started as a 3rd, 4th line, kind of bottom 6, and he's been able to move around maybe into that interior 6 of the lineup. So what do you like about being able to slot him in on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, he's been his growth has been faster than others. He comes from a hockey background. His dad was a captain at the IHL and American League level, and you can just see his IQ, and to have that with 6'6" as well is a nice bonus. He's done a good job so far as well with the physical side of things, holding on to pucks. He can make some plays in tight areas. So he's been a nice addition for us from that standpoint. He was one of those after training camp futures trades that somebody didn't think maybe as highly of him and stuff like that, but now he's got 3 goals and 3 assists for us to start the year. And if you were going to say at the end of the year he ends up with 10 to 15 goals and 20 assists, pretty good rookie year. So he's earned everything that he's gotten to this point.
Yuki and Johnny Sorensen each get goals. I know for those guys trying to continue to grow offensively here, about Yuki, because I know Johnny's was empty net. We're not counting against him, but Yuki getting a pretty big goal to tie the game there at the beginning of the third. His reaction kind of said it all. He felt like he needed that one. How important was that at the beginning of the third to just get the tying goal out of the way and not have to stretch it even further? Now there's under 5 minutes left as opposed to 4 minutes in.
Yeah, Yuki's goal, and then Capinelli finally getting the monkey off his back, and so again we had a lot of different guys step up, and we need that secondary scoring. It can't always be O'Brien, Denoyer, and Johnson. Like, we need some other guys. I know Yuki scored 20 goals this year. I'm kind of waiting for him to get going from that standpoint. So we have higher aspirations for Yuki and Sos and a few of these other guys to contribute offensively, especially when they've been given chances in power play roles, top 6 roles. But again, just to get some offense out of our defense was big. Kester getting 1. I think he had 1+2. And then, like you said, Patterson with 3 assists and some of those other things. I thought the power play goal was huge. And then really the second goal by O'Brien with 25 seconds left in the second period there probably was one of our bigger catalysts, just because we were that 1 goal away, and we were able to have some belief going in the third.
Last one for you. You've seen Bloomington 3 times in a month. Obviously, I have a bunch more. We talked about that at length. But what do you appreciate about the way they play that makes it difficult on opponents?
They snap it around really well on the power play. They're a very good team off the rush on the attack. All of us have our strengths and all of us have our weaknesses. I think they compete and play hard. Last time in this building, they were very opportunistic early in the game. I think we actually outshot them, if memory serves me correct. But they took advantage of their chances. Their goalie stood on their head, I thought, a little bit in the last time in our building. But then at the same time, I thought they took us a little bit in their building in the 2-1 with the empty netter to make it 3-1. So we've lost our last 2 now to them. This is a team as you and I talk about, we see a fair share. So, this next 3 games here over the holidays is big for us as, we're trying to creep back up the standings.
Is there anything served in the Weber household that's like the special thing that you need to have when you go to the Weber household for Thanksgiving? And to follow up with that, a 2-part question, which I hate asking, is Christmas, Thanksgiving, like what's your favorite holiday structure here? So both questions at once.
Oof. Probably because of not the late night before. I like Thanksgiving. It'll be a late night before because of a game, but Christmas Eve can tend to be a late night sometimes. Food for both is great. Angie and my mother-in-law are going to be tag teaming this one, which I'm pretty excited about. My mother-in-law's pecan pie is pretty up there. It's a funny story that we'll be telling on Thanksgiving Day about my first Thanksgiving in the Del Rosso household. Fortunately, my mother-in-law is a fantastic cook. My wife has made great strides in her cooking since we first met, and so I'm looking forward to a lot of the different things that will be served on Thursday.
A partially Italian household is always going to be good food on Thanksgiving, and we'll edit it to say exactly that in the pregame interview. Chuck, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, David.
Again, that's Chuck Weber. Back next, Heartlanders and who else but Bloomington.